We got breaking news in the NFL surrounding Lamar Jackson, who has requested a trade for the Baltimore Ravens. The star QB tweeted today that he asked for trade back on March 2nd, which days before he officially received a non-exclusive franchise tag. Jackson and the Ravens have been unable to reach a long-term deal when it comes to that contract, and tweeted that the Ravens have, quote, not been interested in meeting my value. Of course, today at the NFL meetings in Phoenix there, John Harbaugh, of course, middle of the center stage there, taking the mic and answering questions. Here's his thoughts on what was said today by Lamar Jackson.
I haven't seen the tweet. It's an ongoing process. I'm following it very closely, just like everybody else is here, and looking forward to a resolution. I'm excited, thinking about Lamar all the time, thinking about him as our quarterback. We're building our offense around that idea, and I'm just looking forward to getting back to football, and I'm confident that's going to happen.
Do you anticipate him being your quarterback in week 1?
I do. You know, you gotta plan for all the contingencies for sure. But I'm pretty fired up about Lamar Jackson. I mean, Lamar Jackson is a great player. Lamar came back in great shape last year. He's fired up to play. That's the Lamar that I'm looking forward to seeing. Can't wait to get back on the grass and go to work, and I'm confident that's going to happen.
So you're following him on Twitter and seeing all the posts?
No, I don't live in that world, Jerry. You know, I'm not a real Twitter guy. Have you seen my tweets lately? No. That's you know, you see it. I mean, obviously that stuff comes through. Guys like Jonah share those tweets with me, so we appreciate it, and it's been kind of fun watching some of that stuff too. So Lamar's great on Twitter. I mean, he's fun to follow. He does a great job with all that. So some of that stuff you get enjoyment out of it too.
How much direct contact have you had with him since the season?
You know, it's a unique situation right now, I would say. It's different than most years. This is a contract situation, so that's probably just a little different than other years. Not as much. So I'm looking forward to getting back, you know, to the normal way of doing things.
Is there a point where you like kind of stuck, John? Is there a point like, and I know there's no hard deadline,
right?
Where it kind of hurts the team if it's not taken care of?
Well, Albert, you know, that's a great question. I mean, the obvious question is yesterday. You know, you want it done already, but it's just not always possible. I mean, this is the real world. This is big time pro sports at the highest level, and contracts are important and they matter to both sides. The thing that I love about the situation, I believe, is that in the end you got good people, you know, working together. I mean, we've been with Lamar. You know, I've been with Lamar as a coach, and players and coaches and all of us in the organization have been together for 5 years now. You know, we've been through some crazy things, some amazing moments, some tough moments, challenges, ups and downs together. You know, we've hugged in the locker room after wins. We've hugged in the locker room after losses. You know, those are things that last forever. Those relationships never change. So this is part of it. You know, it's part of the story that's being written, and everybody's writing the story. But I just appreciate that it's been handled with class. Lamar's handled it with class, and Eric and Steve and Ozzie and all the people involved on that side have handled it with class. So that's what I appreciate about everybody involved.
Do you feel like the relationship is still in place?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
When's the last time you spoke, and how would you describe it?
I don't have a gauge on that. You know, it's been a while. I mean, you know, it's going to have to be. It's just, like I said, it's a unique situation. But when we get back together, you know, and I'm really hopeful that happens, and that's what I want to see. You know, it's going to be great. It's going to be good.
Does it make a difference to you whether a player has an agent or not?
To me, no, it doesn't. I don't think about that too much.
John, if he's requested a trade, will you guys take calls?
You know, to get all the details of that, I'm sure that Eric will do a great job of that, whatever it is. I mean, everybody's talking all the time about everything in this league. That's just the way business is done. So I'm sure that business will be done the way it's always done, you know. But for me, my perspective, you know, I'm getting ready for Lamar. That's what I'm doing. In our offense, we've got a new offensive coordinator. Very excited about Todd Monken. We're in the lab right now, building the offense and putting it together with the terminology and the plays and things like that. And that's what you focus on as a coach. And the rest of it, so you build your team. I mean, you build your team regardless. I mean, we're building our team all the time in all the different areas that you got to build it. And I know, and that train is moving, man. The train is moving fast. But here's the thing. You know, when Lamar gets back on board that train, he's fully capable of jumping on full speed. You know, Lamar can go. And so when that train's moving and he merges in with us, we're going to be rolling. That's what, as a coach, that's what I'm thinking about.
So you're literally building this offense still with the idea that Lamar is your quarterback.
Of course. You know, and you prepare for all contingencies, but you build a great offense for your players, right? I mean, that's what you do. And Lamar's under contract, and that's the guy that's the guy I want to see be our quarterback. You know, that's my guy. We made a decision to go with Lamar Jackson 5 years ago, right? Why? Because we love him. We love him. We love the way he plays. We love his mindset, his charisma, his style, the way he is in the locker room. Everything about him, we love him. I love him personally. I love being the coach of the team that he's playing quarterback for. So that's what you do. You know, you build the team around your players, and that's what I'm excited to do.
So, John, you don't see the relationship with him as being past the point that you can, you know, bring him back in even when he goes public to trade him in? Like,
no, I don't see that at all. I mean, to me, this is part of the way it works, you know, and however it works, hey, in the end, when it's all said and done, we're all, you know, not around the circle of this table right now. We're going to see each other somewhere. We're going to give each other a hug and say, how you doing, you know, and we're going to be friends. And it's even more so that way with the players and the coaches that you work with every single day. So, you know, I don't know what direction it's going to go. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell the future, but I know whatever happens, it's going to be good. It's going to be okay. And I have my hopes, you know, and like I said, I love Lamar Jackson.
So, John, you were unaware of his trade request?
I'm not getting into all that. That's stuff. Those conversations happen. It's private.
John, as a matter of course, when do you begin to build contingency plans?
Well, I mean, I think you always are building contingency plans. It's a good question. You're building contingency plans for every position. You know, you can go out there and something can happen to any player and they can be not there the next day for some reason. So you've got to build depth into your team. We've always been a team that wants to build depth in. So every position, we're going to build depth into our team. We're going to try to be prepared for every possible outcome. This is a unique one, no doubt, with Lamar and our quarterback situation, but everybody goes through this in some form or fashion with their quarterback. So this is part of it. It's part of the business.
As a coach, at what point do you need to know who your quarterback is going to be?
Well, you certainly need to know on the day of the first game, you know. And you need to do it at 11:30 before a 1 o'clock game. Because you got to put the names in. So that's like, I know that's kind of a silly answer, but there is no like real hard, fast date. Like I said, in our situation, Lamar's a great player. You know, when he's playing, he's going to want to play great football. He's going to want to be out there at his best. One thing I know about Lamar, he's going to work hard to be the best player he can be, and that's, you know, that's what you plan for.
John, how did we get
a new coordinator and a new offense increase the urgency for him to get there?
Can you say that again?
Is the fact you have a new coordinator and a new offense increase the urgency for him to get there?
Yeah, I think it probably does in reality, but, you know, there's always urgency as a coach, man. You always want your guys there, but the offseason's voluntary, so we'll just see how it plays out with all the guys.
John, how did we get here? Because you guys have said we want Lamar, but how did the relationship and the situation deteriorate to this point where Lamar is literally on Twitter today saying, I request a trade?
You know, I don't really go back and track all that. I think it's natural. I think it's part of the natural environment of professional sports. These are challenging things. There's way more going on, you know, and you guys have all written about this stuff. There's a lot of little moving parts to this deal that go beyond, you know, one player or one team or anything like that. You know, there are pro sports issues with, you know, collective bargaining agreements and all that kind of stuff that matter to people. And I think that's all kind of weaving its way into that, and that's just part of it. So you take it in stride. You know, you try not to worry about it too much and just try to, for us, keep the focus on the things that matter, which for us is football. You know, we're here for football. We're here to keep it simple and get ready to play football as well as we can as a football team. And that's what we try to do.
John, maybe this is an Eric question, but have you guys maintained contract negotiations with Lamar since, you know, the combine or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly how to describe that because Eric's doing that and he does a great job with it. But I know that they're working hard at it and they're, you know, trying to be in constant contact. I mean, you're not talking every second of every day, but as far as I know, it's very consistent.
Whenever the last conversation you had with Lamar, what was it about?
We were talking about our coaching staff, and we were talking about the offense going forward a little bit. You know, it was more texting. That's how Lamar kind of likes to work in the off season. But yeah, that was it. It was football. Talking about football. He and I are talking about contract stuff.
And John, I know your perspective on this too. How you going by you.
Hey.
As far as, you know, with the trade request and this coming in earlier, what have you, like, as far as the context of, he can request a trade, but at the end of the day, there has to be someone that wants to dance. And even if that happens, you still have to get something commensurate with what you would feel would even make sense. And if none of those components happen, he can request a trade all he wants, right?
Well, I mean, I just think the business part of it's the business part of it for sure, Justina. I mean, that's kind of how it works. It's just part of the business of pro sports. those things come into consideration. Those conversations, I'm sure, get had every day with every team. We've had trade conversations with lots of teams about lots of players. In all honesty, and we haven't made one yet. So that's how it works.
You said that Lamar's a guy who marches to the beat of his own drum in a lot of ways. Would you like him to see take a more traditional approach to handling himself with everything that's kind of come out in the past month or so?
One thing I learned from Andy Reid is he had to sign a little card in the back of his desk on the bulletin board, and it said, "Don't judge." I think that's really important. It's everybody's got their way of operating and doing things, and we have relationships, and when we're together, we talk about things with all the different guys all the time. That's how you do. That's how you work. And so, but I'm not going to try to judge anybody's style for doing things. I love Lamar, love what he stands for, love who he is as a person. His mom is a wonderful lady. I haven't had a lot of time with her, but I've met her. He's got a beautiful little girl. It's a good family. I just know what he's all about as a person, where his heart's at, and that's what you think about.
So do you feel like the purpose of this is to exert pressure?
I really don't know. I don't know. It's just all. I think it's part of the way it operates. It's part of the business of football.
John, have you had a conversation with him as if he does have, no other option is the tag? Will he? Are you certain that he will play under the tag this year?
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't have any.
I didn't know if you had a conversation with him.
Yeah, no, I don't know anything really. So.
How limiting has this situation been in your ability to kind of build a roster, given the cap constraints and not knowing some uncertainty about the quarterback?
Well, I don't think it's been a cap restraint issue because it's a solid number, so we know what we're at. So it's either going to be that number, probably, or lower. If you get a long-term deal done, then the cap number for this year can actually come down a little bit. So I don't think that's too much an issue. And as far as the other part of it, like we said before, we're really building the whole team around that situation. So the situation is what it is, and it's always like that. There's always guys on your roster that aren't signed, and you keep up the business of building your team as best you can. It's bigger when it's your quarterback for sure, but other teams go through it too. So it's just how it works.
John, what do you make Lamar's time his trade request versus cap?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think Lamar keeps too much track of when the meetings happen and things like that, but he might. I don't read too much into it.
Well, because the reality is that you guys knew this, behind the scenes for a while. I mean, the only difference today is that people know about it publicly today, and it's almost been business as usual for you behind the scenes. It's really the only difference today.
I just think it's an ongoing process. I mean, it's a good point. It's just this is not. It's. I know it's news cycles and headlines and scrolls and stuff like that, and that's part of it. And that's really, that's part of the fun of sports, right? Everybody wants to see what's going on. I mean, I pull up on my phone and I pull up you guys and see what you're writing about, or see what's going on in Ukraine. I'm really interested in that. I'd like to see that get calmed down, possibly. So I actually look at that first, believe it or not. But it's kind of an important deal. But it just rolls. It's fluid, and it's going to work out. And we're gonna get up the next morning, God willing, and we're gonna roll, and we're gonna be playing football, and nothing's changed in terms of the relationships, how we feel about Lamar, how we want to build our team, the kind of team we want to be personality-wise. Lamar fits us that way, so that's how we're going.
How do you put it back in the box when he says he wants out? He's your franchise quarterback, so how do you put that back in?
It's going to work itself out. Believe me, if we're playing football next year and Lamar Jackson's the quarterback, we're all going to be happy. And he's going to be fired up to play, and he's going to be happy to be out there playing too, and because that's the kind of guy he is. I mean, he loves to play, and he loves his teammates, and he loves his coaches, and I just think that's how it works. Like I said, it's a fluid kind of a thing. There's no periods on any of this.
John, I feel weird kind of answering now Lamar's question. You guys,
Are we done with that now? Great.
You guys picked up Nelson Aguilar last week. Just impressions of him and how you see him fitting into the.
Yeah, Cliff. Thanks, Cliff. Appreciate that. Nelson, I'm just excited to have him. He's a guy that we've had to play against. Former first-round pick, big, rangy receiver, tough player, pro. That's the way he's been described, and we had him in for the visit. That's the way he presented himself. I think he's going to be great for a young receiver room. Him and Bate now, and we're not done. We're not done in there at all. Plus the guys we've got coming back, and we like the guys we've got coming back as well, with Duvernay and Prochet and all the guys. So, but I think he's going to be a good addition for us, and I'm excited about it. And that's just one piece. It's one step.
You kind of answered the next question. you've had a longer time to look at the rookies coming out in this year's draft. Are you excited? As most people see the thing as a deep draft at that position. Have you seen that from what you've seen?
I have. I've seen all those guys now. I've seen like 40 receivers now on tape. So that takes a lot of work. It's like you ask, what are you guys doing? We're not sitting around reading tweet all the time. We are, we're working on stuff. So it's been fun to look at those guys, and I think it is a deep draft for receiver. And there's a lot of guys that kind of fit the way we want to play. And the next step is going to be getting with Coach Monken, Coach Lewis, Coach Martin, and Coach Taggart, and talking about, okay, for what we're trying to build offensively, which of these guys do you like the best in terms of targeting who we want to go after? Because we're going to draft a receiver.
John, as the head coach, you guys got so many things in your organization, and you make it sound like you're sort of like letting Gary handle this. Is it at all frustrating? Just like, you feel like there should be some sort of agreement by now?
No. I answer that really actually with a firm no. I mean, I just understand that this is how it works. I mean, Lamar is a great guy, and Lamar's doing a nice job with the negotiations, and I think that needs to be said. People need to understand he's doing a good job, okay? And Eric's doing a good job. And Eric's getting advice from Ozzie and from Steve, and all those things are being discussed. Yeah, I'm involved in those conversations too, so I know where we're at. There really is no frustration other than the natural, normal, hey, this is how pro football works, and it's probably easier than college football. They got the transfer portal. I'd like to be dealing with that. So I feel okay about this. It's going to be all right. Yeah, NIL. We have contracts, so that's good.
To follow up on Jeff's earlier question, do you feel that the uncertainty of the position negatively impacted you in free agency? Did you hear from free agents, directly or indirectly, that, hey, we don't know who the quarterback is, we're not coming?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think guys don't really tell you everything. If it did, it did. If it didn't, it didn't. I really don't know the answer to that, but I'm not worried about it.
The thing is with Lamar, he's saying that the team is not meeting his value. So this is not a team thing. This is not a Baltimore thing. He's underlining that this is monetary. So what room do you think that there is to get closer to what he feels like is his value, so that this situation can be massaged by the time that you guys need to focus on football things? Right.
Well, to me, that's a very good question and a very good point, because really at the end, that's the important thing. I mean, you got two sides that appreciate each other here, and I think Lamar believes in us and we believe in Lamar, and we know where we want to go forward. So it's a monetary thing that can be figured out, that can be worked out. That's just a matter of negotiating, and I think we just continue down that road, and eventually it'll work out. There's always going to be creative ways to figure that stuff out.
I think we forgot to ask you this at the time, but I assume Lamar's fully healthy now. Is that the case?
I believe so. Yeah.
John, you said earlier that he's marches to the beat of his own drum, unique guy, a lot of conviction.
I don't think I actually said that, did I? You said that.
All right.
You say he's a unique guy.
Thanks.
Thank
you.
At what point, just as you developed a relationship with him, did you sort of figure that out and get a sense of him as a person?
Lamar's a unique kind of a guy. Well, I will say this. Everybody's unique, okay? And that's really true, right? We teach our kids that. And the thing about Lamar is a great guy. He's a fun guy. And I saw that probably when we drafted him, and he got up there in front of the TV cameras and said, I'm bringing the Super Bowl to Baltimore, right away. And he was so fired up, and he's there with his family. And I fell in love with him right in that moment, So then when he came in for the visit, and we had a chance to talk. And then really every day after that. So, yeah, he's great. He's unique. He's fun to be around. He's a charismatic guy. The players love him. I love seeing him. When I see him in the building, my spirit is lifted. So in that sense, if that's walking to a beat of a different drum, that's a good beat to walk to for sure.
Do you think that's part of this? I mean, like you said, everybody's unique, but people who feel strongly about their perception of the world and then have strong ideas sometimes run into more friction when they make their way through the world and business and whatever it is.
Deep question, no doubt, and probably exactly right. I think it's probably true. And now, what are the things that makes Lamar so good is his determination, right? I mean, he's been told, not by us, because obviously we said, hey, that's our guy, but he's been told throughout since he was a little kid that he needs to play another position. Take it all the way back to that, and he's been firm and stubborn, if you want to use that term. He's been firm in the fact that I'm a quarterback and I'm going to stick to that. So to me, that very mindset that you're talking about is the same mindset that's gotten him to where he's at as a football player.
I believe T. Martin went down in South Florida. I know his son's playing baseball down there, but did he get a chance to
While they're answering questions for the media for a lengthy part of the day, of course, there. This news stemming from Lamar Jackson on Twitter saying that he wanted a trade back on March 2nd, but take a look at the numbers. He has something to talk about. Two-time Pro Bowler, and then 2019 won that MVP. You see the numbers there since they drafted him. He has 45 wins under his belt. Other QBs to lace it up in Baltimore, 8-13. In other words, we saw what happened last year. Once he went out, the Ravens did not look like the playoff team we have seen in the past.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.